Examination of self can be debilitating. Trying to navigate policies, work to earn a living, and itself seems challenging enough. Throw in spiritual elevation in any and or all aspects, and you have even more of a balancing act to manage. So, is it enough to have spiritual acknowledgement without active practice or liability? Like, enough to understand, but not apply things to your life or situation because that's not, or like, just the way shit been. Like, it's just always been that way. I'm calling this one the essence of the presence. Just Forget About It, episode 38. 38, never late, always great. Lego. So the essence of the presence, this might be part 2 or a 2-part video, y'all, because my battery is like on a prayer. I need to buy a new one. I be charging it for like a full day and it still don't be lasting. So let me stop babbling on and get to the content, okay? So the essence of the presence for me is applicable to several aspects of any human living within society. I wanted to say God-fearing, but y'all know these kids ain't scared of anything but themselves. That's for another day. Anyway, essence of the presence means for me 3 main categories: presentation, spiritual alignment and practice, that's in one category, and acknowledgement of higher forces at play. So God, Yahusha, Jesus, Allah, whomever you subscribe to. So for starters, the baseline meaning of this phrase, the essence of the presence, and the first category of presentation, I've always felt the way we present and think of ourselves can either empower us or disarm us. I don't know about y'all, but I choose to be empowered always. Presentation is often a direct reflection of how we feel on the inside, no matter what buffer we put on it. Like how people be like, I don't get dressed while I'm at work. There's nobody here. Or I only get dressed when I'm going out. At some point, we have to let go of the ego and pride and really examine this, as I stated within the opening, from a place of internal examination or introspective, and really look within ourselves and ask ourselves, what is it about my environment that makes me feel okay or even obligated to shrink or narrow myself? Outside of uniform requirements, if you're a nurse, you have to wear scrubs. These are for safety purposes. We're not talking about that. We're talking about even if you work somewhere where you are business casual and you have the right to make business casual within the respect of, acceptable length skirts if you're a woman, suitable fitting outfits or pants and or shirts, whatever, accessories for men. But that doesn't mean you can't make it your own. Anyhow, better yet, how about what is it within me? Is there a level of me that feels undeserving? Undeserving of the attention it will bring, or the responsibility of being as bold and as confident as I project myself to the world when I'm going out, or when I'm outside of work or whatever. Is what I'm presenting how I truly feel about myself? What does it say about me? All of these questions, examinations may seem hard or excessively burdensome, especially if you're just chilling and you're going about your day to day. You've never really felt that way, you know what I mean? But we have to think about these things, guys. I know it's annoying. It's like, who do you think you are? You ain't living in a cold world. Let me stop. But we have to do it to embody the essence of the presence within our lives. Follow me, y'all. And within our next process or our next category after presentation would be charging our essence of the presence with spiritual alignment and practice. More of what we learned and why we may do it. And even if you haven't, that's okay. Because this step that I'm going to explain after presentation may help you with any holes that you didn't get to from the presentation. And you can use these same internal questions that I'm going to propose now. Okay. So after presentation, when we get to the spiritual alignment and practice, we have another conversation with ourselves. And we sit with these thoughts and these feelings. And within these thoughts and feelings, we have to figure out when and why certain things we do and examine them. So during this time, we should be asking our minds, were you annoyed? How about dismissive? And this is during your internal examination. Like, were you being honest about how things make you feel or your perspective of why you receive things a certain way or make excuses to be your truest and most, abundant self? Or how about were you just numb altogether? You didn't even really process it. It was just like, this is not something for me to consider right now. When the space creates for it, I will do that. And you can apply the same thing if you didn't even get that far. How did you thinking about it and why it stopped make you feel? Did it annoy you thinking about why you do certain things? Because up to this point, you didn't feel like anything was wrong. You chilling, you functioning, you out here making money, you doing things. You get it? Or did it make you angry? How about dismissive as well? Well, if the answer was yes to some or even all of those inner feelings, thoughts, narratives, hold on to that familiarity of those feelings. Now, I know that sounds crazy. Like, what do you mean hold on to negativity or feelings that don't make me feel good? We're always talking about positivity on here, but follow me. When we tap into the reasoning behind negative emotions that spiral and show up in different areas in our lives, i.e. the way we present ourselves into the world, why we make excuses as to why we alter our presentations outside of requirements, right? So when we have the familiarities of these emotions, we now have the blueprint and we are spiritually aligning the blueprint to resolve. It is within this time that we learn to sit, study, and learn to release or transform. And as we are spiritually aligning, we then embody the essence of the presence in our lives, the presence of our spiritual man being honored and loved and considered. And once we do this, guys, things in our lives open up. And that's how you know you're going in the right direction and you're embodying the essence of the presence. So after we actually acknowledge the spiritual alignment, we do the presentation, we do the examination. I'm not saying it in order, so don't get too caught up in that. We then have to go back to our emotions once again. I know, the emotions. It's like, again? I know. We are all afraid of them so often that we just go without understanding them for lifetimes. I mean, this is when you hear people make excuses like, well, that's just the way I am. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to be like this new mighty and high person if that's just not your vibe. Some people, I don't know. Do they choose to be low vibrational? That's another story. I'm going off on a tangent. But once we go within our emotions and we have this understanding, we then understand the tempo and triggers of our emotions that when they arise in real life again, because as I've been saying on episodes, y'all, these things are reoccurring. It's not like one deep dive. We do this exercise. You were feeling good today. You had a walk in the park. You ate a Crunch bar. And it be days like that. And you feel like, oh, I'm on top of the world. But what about that day you wake up and whatever you did from the day before was erased? Them emotions may not be carrying you from when you was in the park eating a granola bar. You're going to be pissed off again, right? So these kind of exercises and practices of putting yourself through those emotions or allowing those emotions to sit and you become familiar with them, they help you practice the essence of the presence in our lives. And once again, say you don't like someone, right? Okay? Or someone at work, someone that's within close proximity. I'm giving real life examples now of this. You know, I just don't want to sound whimsical and not give you things to really move on. When you are spiritually aligning, you are working on presentation and you are examining things from a place of wanting to embody the essence of your presence, you use the same internal narrative when digesting the reasons why we don't like certain people. And I often ask myself, what is it about this person that irritates me? Do they really deserve this much power in my mind? And if they do still irritate me after I ask myself these two questions, I then ask myself, do they challenge aspects of me I am burying or I'm not willing to acknowledge or I have ignored? That's a difficult one. And oftentimes it could be that. Because why do we carry hatred towards people that do nothing for us? Or does it remind me of pain, my shortcomings, things that I haven't been actively or I have ignored to work on? And when we do this, we uncover a lot about ourselves. Know thyself, love thyself. And what makes us, or you, you. We have to examine what it is about situations or people that give our power away by allowing our feelings to be in a frenzy or opposite, numb, in some cases of numbness, you know. What is it about them that creates this in me outside of more than an outdated, unpleasant interaction? I get it, because I hold on to stuff like the best of them. But I've been like really releasing, and I'm telling y'all, it is the best. And it helps you with all areas of your life, making money, how to deal with your loved ones, how to deal with your partner. We gotta embody the essence of the presence in our lives. We must be always willing to write an ode of love. Oh.